Okay, so this is a quick guide on the March of the Ages KVK. It will give you an idea on three most very important things: foundation stones, forward camps, and most importantly, supply radius. So we have two new buildings: the foundation stone, which you need to build for you to teleport your city to, and forward camps, which are very important in terms of fighting, movement, and general gameplay. So in terms of foundation stones, these you need to build around pagodas. Pagodas are objectives which you capture with your alliance or coalition and control, which allow you and your members to build foundation stones which you need to use to teleport to. You cannot teleport onto alliance territory. You can only teleport onto pagoda territory, right? It takes 4 hours for your foundation stone to build, and 4 hours for your city to actually teleport to the foundation stone. All in all, from building a foundation stone to teleport takes 8 hours, right? Which you can only do around these pagodas. Essentially, these pagodas act as obelisks from ROK, right? So again, you need to capture and occupy the pagoda with your with coalition territory, build your foundation stone, teleport, right? Imprisons is ineffective on this map, nothing too important, right? Next, very important, are your forward camps. These forward camps are going to be the basis of your supply circle, right? You can build up to 5, right, as KVK moves forward. And I'll give you an example here from one of my forward camps. As you can see here, you have a forward camp, can only be built on coalition territory again, right? It's upgradable up to 5 levels, each level being 4 hours. So again, between 1 and 2, 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 takes 4 hours each, takes 16 hours to fully upgrade a forward camp. And what this does is to increases the amount of troops it could send to it, troop reserves, and it takes 3 hours, 3 troops in it. So as you can see here, you need to be up to level 5 to take 3 troops. And these troops, once applied to your forward camp, are the only ones you could use in the area of your forward camp. I'll describe that a little bit better in terms of describing supply radius to you. Here you could send some troops, reserves we call it, to your forward. And what it does is that it, as right here, you could dispatch troops to forward camps. They use marching orders, right? That would be your main troops as seen down below here, right? These troops, once sent to forward camps, if defeated, return to your forward camp in the open field or rally or garrison, right? It could actually heal slightly wounded troops. Heavily wounded and troops go back straight to your city. Dead troops die, right? You have the option to dispatch units as a reserve, right? No need for commanders, no need to use your marching orders, right? It's just limited. For example, 80,000 troops take 15 hours to get to your forward camp. These troops could be used in rallies, well, in garrison defense, right? And they do actually show up on the map, they just have pay, right? And let's have here, their length of time depends on how close your city is to the forward camp, right? Most important thing with forward camps is that if on territory, as seen here, I am on alliance territory. If I were to leave the alliance, my troop would leave the forward camp. If the flag was to be destroyed, all troops in my forward camp come out of the forward camp, right? So in a war's time, if you teleport to the front of the lines, do nothing, keep your troops in your forward camp, flag is burnt and destroyed, right? Once the flag is removed, all your troops leave your forward camp, could easily be swarmed on the way home, as well as once a flag is down, a forward camp would be destroyed, and that's pretty detrimental because it takes time to build more forward camps and upgrade it to a proper level to fight. Next most important thing in this is supply lines. I'll send you to my city and I'll give you an example and show it. So this here, this circle around my city is my supply line. Within the green I deal full damage. Within the yellow I deal 75% damage. And outside of the yellow, in my non-supply radius area, I deal much less damage. I deal 10% of damage, which is basically negligible. So at all times, you need to fight within your supply lines, your supply radius. Another important thing is that I can only rally, I can only garrison, I can only attack objectives within my supply radius. So if I were to rally a fort in this zone here, I wouldn't be able to rally it, right? If troops attached to my city can only deal any damage of any sort within this circle. Another important thing is your forward camps. This is a forward camp here, and it has a certain radius as seen here. The only troops which a forward camp supply radius applies to is troops set to this forward camp. So if I were to set a troop to my forward camp here, it only gains the supply radius of that forward camp. No other troops, if sent from my city, applies in this specific radius. Of course, my troops from my city can apply to this area, but not here. I need to attach that troop to my forward camp. So I can only if there was a rally occurring here, whether an objective, a fort, defense, only troops applied to my forward camp can join, and only troops within my forward camp can cause proper damage within this area here. If an ally, for example, if my ally here were to launch a rally to an objective here, I would not be able to join him from my city, right? Because his city is not within my city's supply radius. When the march returns here in this zone, if this was the objective he was rallying, I can send and reinforce from my city because it's within my city's forward radius. If he was rallying an objective here in this zone, only a troop from my forward camp can aid. Another important thing is that marches must apply specifically to each forward camp, right? And you can only march if you have marching orders. For example, this ROK. If I were to go into building management, you see here, marching orders. Marching orders take a while to fill. So for example, if I were to send a troop to this forward camp, I'll just take this random. It uses a marching order, and marching orders take 6 hours to replenish. So I can only send 5 armies overall to a forward camp or any forward camps. So I could send, if this was level 5, I could send 3 to this one and 2 to this one at max at a time. I would have no more marching orders to be able to send any troops to this forward camp, and thus it will be ineffective and unimportant. So it's very important to understand that supply radiuses or radii and objectives, as well as proper use of marching orders, because a lot of planning will need to be taken in deciding which objectives to take. I hope this guide helps understand the mechanics of forward camps, supply radius, and the supply radius.